your striking mechanics. And that's going to be the way that you put together your basic punching. Okay, and that's going to be, I've used 5 basic punches, and then I have any variations that come off of my mechanics are going to be related to those 5 ways or 5 understandings is the way we're going to look at this. They're going to be my jab, my cross, my hook, my uppercut, and my overhand. And jab, cross are my straight punches, hooking, uppercutting, and overhanding are my arcing shots. The way I'm going to establish this is my jab is going to be just like I'm sighting a gun. I'm going to explode from the sides of my head out to the end of my arm, length of my arm. Just like I'm cracking a whip, I'm going to sight down the end of my arm, look off my knuckles like I'm sighting a gun, and then pull it back. So it'll go crack right out and right back. I'm touching a hot plate each time. If I put it on Bob, it looks like this. Now my cross is going to be the same thing. Cross is coming off the rear side of my body. I'm in a left lead right now, so my cross comes off the rear side of my body. My cover hand, just like in my jab, is going to move around my head, protect my jawline. I can lock it up against my temple when I'm sighting each shot, or put it in front of my tip of my chin to protect my jaw. Cross is going to be the same way. My hands are going to switch positions, and I'm going to go back to landing my cross on the other side. Same thing here. I'm going to sight off the end of my fist, look down my arm like I'm sighting a gun, pull my elbow in tight to my body so I'm protecting my rib cage, and deliver my shot with a snap. So it's out and back. My knees are flexed on these shots so that I have good spring in my legs. Each time I deliver my shot, it's out and then straight back. I follow a straight line out, straight line back. Now this can vary. You see all different ways of throwing jabs. I'll demonstrate all different ways of throwing jabs and throwing crosses, but I want to have a basic understanding of a straight line shot. Now, if I go to my hooking, I'll switch my feet to a right lead. When I go to a hook, it's going to make it much easier for me to understand if I roll my body first, then pick up my elbow and roll my hook over. I'm following an arcing line. And my opponent, when I go to hit my opponent, if his hands are up in the middle of his body, covering the center line of his body, protecting himself, usually the side is open. So that's when I want to use my hook. I pull my hook right around the corner. Jab, cross. There's my hook. Beer mug position. I don't want to be hooking like this too much because I can damage the small bones in my hand. If I roll my fist over just like this, a lot less opportunity to break your hand. You hit with your big knuckles instead of the little knuckles on the end of your hand. You tend to pull. Same thing when I'm crossing. If I turn over too much, my hand will drift sometimes, and you might hurt your small bones, and your metacarpals might break. And that's easy to do if I snap and pull right back to my head. Then I have a lot less chance of doing that if I turn into the beer mug position, whether it's off the rear, okay, or off the lead. It's going to protect my hand and make it safer for me to hit that way. Now if I'm changing the line, if I look at Bob, I cut him horizontally in 3 places. I split him down the middle, so it's left, middle, right. That's how I'm putting a grid on Bob as to where I'm going to land my techniques. If I draw an X, okay, that's how I can hit the diagonal lines. So the planes of attack are going to be a level plane where I'm dicing Bob and splitting him like this. or my diagonal plane where I'm making an X and cutting them in half like this. This is so I can deliver my overhand, deliver my uppercut. That way I'm hitting on that diagonal plane. And then what I'm left with is the cross, okay? My straight line punches, they're the tip of the chin, the solar plexus, and even the groin if you're in a real fight. Now, for MMA purposes, you know, you're not going to the groin unless you're fouled twice and then he needs to be fouled back. So that's how I'm splitting Bob up. My main attacking weapons for punching are going to be jab, cross, hook, uppercut, and overhand. So when I apply that to Bob, it's jab, cross, jab, cross. When I apply my hook, it's hook, 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 hook. I apply my overhand, 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 overhand. I apply my uppercut, 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 uppercut. Making the X, following the points in the cross for my horizontal shots, making my mechanics, not style or personal preference, just my mechanics solid.